Cursor just released a new AI agent and it's absolutely insane. This AI agent can interact with the terminal, automatically make changes to your code base across multiple files, and so much more. You basically get a full stack developer that works side by side with you on your project. This will save you an insane amount of time. So in this video, I'll show you how to use the Cursor agent to build anything you want. Now, the future of programming is here. If you're not paying attention, then listen up. Long gone are the days of manually typing each line of code. Programming is going to be from remembering syntax and manually doing everything to having an idea and pushing through to execute it. That is going to be the $1 million skill. With AI tools like Cursor, you can now build any software you can imagine with plain English. Just typing words. And I'm not just saying this, I'm actually doing it with my own AI startup, Vector AI. I'm using Cursor for the backend, from the front end, for fixing bugs, for helping me restructure the code base. I've never built a startup before. With Cursor, I can now make it happen. Now, the agent update just takes Cursor to another level. It's capable of multi-file edits autonomously, meaning it's way more agentic than the previous composer. It also possesses full contextual understanding of your code base, meaning not only does it know where files are, it also knows what's inside of them because it indexes all of those files instead of just pulling random pieces of code into its tokens like it did before. And this allows it to be way more useful, offering much more accurate code suggestions than before. And it can also write commands in the terminal, something that the old Cursor definitely couldn't do. Now, this is just one of many reasons why I believe that the next 2 to 3 years will shape the next century. Like in the last month alone, so many new AI tools and updates and improvements have happened. If you're not seeing this and if you're not doing anything about it, I don't know what to tell you. Here's the plan. We're gonna build a full stack web app from scratch, just using the new Cursor agent. Now you might be thinking, but David, I've never used any AI agents before and I have no prompt engineering experience. Like, can I do this as well? The answer is absolutely. I'm gonna put all of the prompts and code from this video in the new society so you can just copy paste them. Now, I was wondering, what should I actually build in this video? So I just made a post in the new society and asked some of you guys. And this was one of the most popular suggestions from David Aarons to combine VoiceFlow and Twilio into one app. So let's make that happen. So the first step is go to cursor.com and actually download Cursor. So click on this big white button, download for Mac, or if you're on Windows, download it for Windows, and click on save. Once it finishes downloading, open up your downloads folder and unzip the installer, and you'll see this icon right here, install Cursor. So double click that and install the app. Now, before we can actually open Cursor, you need to create an account. So go back to cursor.com and click on the top right and create an account. They have a really solid free plan with 2,000 free completions. So definitely get started on that. But I would highly recommend you, if you want to build anything serious, get the pro plan, because this will save you so much time and allow you to build things that you simply couldn't build otherwise. Anyways, once you create an account, we can actually open Cursor. So type in Cursor and open the app. You should see something like this. So let's click on open a folder. Let's create a new one. Code, open up. So this is what Cursor looks like. Now, the only difference you might see is that you might have the file panel on the left. I moved it to the right. This is just a preference. And when I'm recording videos, if I have opened the chat, it covers my camera. So that's why I moved it. But to open up the most important Cursor part, you press Command L or Control L on Windows, and you open the sidebar where you can see the chat and the composer. These are the two main features inside of Cursor. And what we're looking for is the agent feature right here. So what you need to do is you actually need to select the right model. You cannot use GPT-4o. The agent feature only works with Claude models. So make sure to select Sonnet 3.5, the newest one. If you don't see it, you actually need to go into the settings, click on Cursor, settings, then Cursor settings. And in here, click on models, and you can enable and disable which models you see. But honestly, 95% of the time I use Sonnet 3.5, and the other 5% is combination of GPT-4o and O1 Mini. So once you set that up, we can use the agent to create our file structure, because it can also create files, delete files, all of that stuff. So let's follow the idea that David from New Society described, which is a combination of VoiceFlow and Twilio. So your task is to build a full stack web app that's a combination of VoiceFlow and Twilio. Start by creating a new Next.js project. Let's try to build this in as few files as possible. Okay, I think this is pretty solid for the first prompt. So let's make sure agent is selected. So click on agent and then submit. So as you can see, the Cursor agent starts by writing the terminals for you. It knows how to set up the project and which packages to import, how to import them, which files to create, all of that. It can do it for you. You just need to accept it. And, ideally you should read what it does, because accepting blindly changes, that can, mess up your system. So It's asking for a bunch of customization, so I'm just gonna say no for this. But if you don't know what to select, you can just ask ChatGPT, ask Claude. Would you like to customize the import alias? I'm gonna do no. And then, boom, on the right in our file structure, which for you is probably gonna be on the left, you can see the project setup that we have so far. Now, while it's installing, one thing I should have mentioned earlier is that if you go into the settings, cursor settings, there is this rules for AI. And this is basically the main system prompt for Cursor that applies to all of your projects, and it helps the AI be a lot more productive and useful, and you can obviously customize it to your own preferences. So if you want to use the same one I have, it's going to be in the new society, in the templates and preset section, right in prompts or instructions right here. Cursor system prompt, you can just take it, copy it, and use it for yourself. So that's the one I've optimized from spending hundreds of hours inside of Cursor and building my own AI startup. So now it wants to install Twilio and VoiceFlow SDKs. Okay, so let's run that. I'm not sure if those are going to be necessary, but maybe it will be. We'll see. Now, one thing you can actually do while the composer is still coding, while the AI agent is still running, you can go into the chat section and ask questions, right? So I'm going to say, I want to build a simple full stack web app that acts as a combination of VoiceFlow and Twilio. Help me create a simple roadmap for this app. And then you can submit to your entire code base, which will scan all of the files, or you can just submit without any context, which in this case I want to do. Actually, it attached this route.ts file, but that's fine. So the agent finished running. As you can see, it was running for multiple minutes, right? It's like not a simple composer output that takes a few seconds and gives you a quick answer. This actually takes into consideration what you want to do. It's not quite as advanced reasoning as O1, but it's getting there, right? It's like multiple thinking, takes in more context, does more actions, indexes more files. We're getting to the point where AI agents actually become super useful. Like 2025 will be the year where AI agents are everywhere. I'm talking about AI first companies that build AI agents for very specific applications, very specific use cases, which will save you countless hours of time. This is exactly what I'm trying to do with my own AI startup, Vectel AI. This is going to be a productivity app with integrated AI agents. You can chat with the AI agent. It can reorganize your list. It can show only certain tasks you want. It can help you complete tasks. This is going to be the future of productivity. Right now, I'm still developing it, so if you want to be one of the first people to have access, the waitlist is going to be linked below. But if you're watching this in a week or two, Vectel might already be released. So check the description, you'll see the link there. Now back to Cursor. So let's see, we have a bunch of files, we just need to accept these changes. So let's see what's going on. Okay, it needs to fill out these environment variables. We can actually skip that for now. I'm going to say, focus on creating the front end. And then I'm going to give it some screenshots to use as inspiration. You can never give it enough visual references. That's probably one of the mistakes people make. They don't show it what they're seeing. So I'm going to screenshot the dashboard, not the dashboard, but the main field of VoiceFlow, and I'm going to send it as a reference. Here is the reference of what it should look like, VoiceFlow UI. And I'm going to give it further description by saying the background is a white dotted plane, and on the left there's a sidebar with different blocks that you can drag over to the main plane. Okay, let's see. This probably should be a longer prompt, but we'll see how well it does with just a vague prompt. Now, while it's coding the front end, one more file we have to create is the cursor rules files. Click onto the files section. If it's on the left, click on the left. Just create a new file, type in .cursor rules. It has to be named exactly like this. And in here, we can paste in instructions specific to this project. So the system prompt is relevant to anything you do in Cursor, any files, any code, whatever, any projects, right? This is for this specific project. Now, I could write a completely new one just for this project, but to save you some time, because that wouldn't be much interesting, I'm just gonna take the one I already optimized for programming, which, by the way, is also in the new society. So right here, David, cursor rules, click on that, and you'll get the entire cursor rules prompt. Boom, I'm just gonna paste this in and hit save. And now it will apply to all future messages in this project. So if I create a separate project, it will not work. I have to create a different cursor rules file. But for this project, those instructions are active. Anyways, we need to review some changes that our agent did. So as you can see, it's using multiple files. Let me expand this a bit. It changed the page TSX. So this is the main file, then icons. So these are going to be the icons, for the blocks. And then we have the CSS globals file. So let's accept that. Okay, so I'm gonna say, can I start the front end server and see what it looks like? Do we need to do anything else? If so, tell me how to start it. You don't need any front-end back-end experience when using cursor. Obviously it helps, right? I'm not gonna deny it helps. You will build faster, you will run into fewer mistakes, you will make less obvious errors, but it's not necessary. It is not necessary. You can build apps, and I'm gonna prove it myself with my startup. You can build impressive apps without being a full stack developer. And all of us will be able to build software in the next 1 or 2 years. Some of you will just wait until it's super easy, but hopefully there is a select few of you that will jump in right now, push through all the friction and make it happen. Because that's what makes it valuable. You know, if it was so easy as snapping a finger, then everybody would build their own AI startup, become a multimillionaire. But the friction is exactly what makes it valuable. So if you have an idea, right now is the best time in history to make it happen. Anyways, our front end server is activated. So let's just click on this localhost 3000 and let's see what it looks like. Boom! This is the first version of the front end. It's only going to get better from now. We have the buttons on the left. Now, obviously, the contrast could be better. Let's see if the dragging works. Okay, so the functionality still is not optimal, but we're going to change that. And we have even this icon, static root. We can close that. I don't know what that was for. Interesting. But anyways, we have the bunch of buttons. So we can probably just tell it to make sure the icons are black so they contrast well. And then so that we can actually drag them over and so they do something. So, okay, I'm going to say, make sure, and actually for this, I'll probably do pop-out terminal so we can actually open a separate terminal so it doesn't interfere with our agent. This is a good practice and something I myself should be using more often. You know, if something is running, for example, this terminal needs to be running for us to see the front end, it shouldn't take time in the composer. We can just pop it out into the actual terminal section, which, by the way, you can open with Command J or Control J, or you can just go to the top terminal, new terminal. But right here, this is going to be our front end. You can actually rename it. It's a good practice to rename your terminals. Front end. And now we need to make sure that the buttons actually work. So first off, change the color of the icons to black so they contrast well on the white background. Next, actually create components for all of the icons so I can just drag and drop them onto the main white plane just like I can in VoiceFlow. Now we should probably start telling it to incorporate some of the Twilio features. Now Twilio, as the headline says over here, is mainly for SMS, voice, email, and authentication. So let's build custom blocks for each of these. I'm going to update my prompt because I should have done that. So I'm going to say cancel. This is what I do all the time. You need to update your prompts because your prompts are almost always the issue. They're never perfect and you have to be willing to go back and change them. Now, fortunately, Cursor has made it super easy. You can just click into it and change it and continue like it wasn't before. Let's start by building these 4 blocks. This is the main functionality of Twilio. Create icons for these and make sure we can actually turn them into blocks on the plane by clicking on the icons in the sidebar. Okay, so now I'm going to say submit, and this pop-up happens. Submit from previous message. Submitting from previous message will revert file changes. So any file changes that the agent have made will be reverted if you want to, right? If you don't want to, you can keep them, but almost always you do want to because you updated the prompt, meaning you gave it more context. So you don't want to have these old like half-assed changes applied to your code base. And honestly, like a very good practice is to read what the code is saying. Now, you might be thinking like, okay, David, but this is going to help the people who know what they're doing the most. That is wrong. If you actually think about it, AI tools like Cursor help the beginners by far the most. Like if you listen to interviews with advanced programmers, they say like, yeah, it saves me time, autocomplete this and that. But it really is people like you and me, the people who are not 15-year senior developers, people who don't have all that experience benefit the most because the AI can do so much for you. It can explain everything that it's doing. It can teach you way faster than you would be, doing otherwise. So it is the beginners that benefit the most from this revolution. So if you are a beginner, don't use that as an excuse. You're actually the exact type of person that would benefit the most by using tools like Cursor. And by the way, also another thing, I would highly encourage you to not be afraid to pay for AI tools, right? I know it can be like annoying to sign up for subscriptions and like monitor which subscriptions you have. AI tools, like it's just one thing that will save you so much more time. Like I've never regretted signing up to an AI tool. And I mean, obviously you can always cancel it, right? But really, if you want to give Cursor an honest shot, get the $20 subscription. I don't have an affiliate link. Like I wish I had an affiliate link, right? But I don't. I'm just saying it because it's a great product. And right now it is the best coding editor out there. And there is a reason why this is a $2.5 billion company only after like 2 years of existing, which is just insane. So anyways, we have some changes. Let's accept those and let's refresh our front end. Now, actually, the good thing about Next.js is that, you know, when you have this front end running, you don't have to restart the terminal. You don't have to do anything. It makes the updates automatically for you. So now we have the main Twilio features in here, and let's see if it works. Boom! Amazing. It's like cursor agent is the future, guys. Like, if you don't see this, you're blind. You're blind. There are going to be people who point out like, oh my God, the SMS message is not perfect, right? It's like, it's still not as advanced as voice flow. Yeah, obviously it's not as advanced as voice flow because this has gotten tens of thousands of human coding hours into it. We're building a simple replica in a matter of minutes over here. So yes, it's not going to be completely like fully integrated with a database and complete back and all that. All of that time takes time to build, right? The point is that with these AI tools, such as cursor agents, you can build it infinitely faster than otherwise. It's really insane, right? So we have these blocks. Obviously, the snapping is a bit sketchy, but the main thing I want to integrate is the connection, right? Like connecting blocks together. And also, we need to tell it to change the text color to black. Okay, so I'm going to say good work. You know, never hurts to encourage your AI agents. Now, make sure to change the text color of the headings inside of the blocks when they are on the white field. By the way, clearly describing what the issue is a skill. It's a skill that takes time. If you don't have that skill, one way to get fast track and to really improve is inside of the advanced AI tutorials in the classroom of the New Society. I have this cursor tutorial that goes really in depth. It's like 50 minutes, advanced cursor guide. Yeah, this one. So if you really don't know how to describe, you know, how to express yourself and how to direct these AI agents and coding tools, this will really help you out. And, you know, in 1 hour, you'll get equivalent education that's like a year of college. So again, if you want to have access to that, make sure to join the New Society. It's the first link in the description. When they are on the white plane, but more importantly, implement a feature where we can connect the blocks together, just like in voice flow. Now, one thing I really like about the new cursor agent is that it shows you the changes in a much more compact way. So right now we're changing the block.tsx. So this is the component of the individual blocks, right? So these changes in the old cursor, it was a lot more messy. Right now you can see these hidden lines. So it's not showing the lines that are the same, right? It's only showing the changes and you can easily see what's happening. Like here it added relative, right? This is the old line, this is the new line. This is green, so it's adding this entire constant. You can easily see what's happening and review it much, much faster. And also, like, as you can see, it's doing multiple files at once. For this, I mean, I'm not going to review it because it's a completely new app. Obviously, if you were already working on a code base, like for your company or for yourself, that already includes functional code, then you have to review it. You know, don't obviously accept blindly. But if you're building something new, you can just click accept, accept, accept. And in a few minutes, you can have a working prototype. So let's see. This is our front end. Let's see how it works. Okay, we have these 4 dots. Let's see how the connection works. Okay, so we get an error. So let's just screenshot this. Always make sure to give cursor relevant context. We get an error. When I try connecting 2 blocks, I get this error. Explain what it is in plain English, then fix it. Also, one more prompt is, this is like so useful. I use this all the time. It's like implement the fix in the simplest way possible. The fewer lines of code, the better. This one, like these 2 sentences, I use all the time. This really makes it a lot more concise and focused on the issue that actually matters. So anyways, the fix seems to be really simple. Get text colors. Okay, seems like it was for text colors. Let's see. Let's do SMS into email. Okay, so this doesn't really work. We got this bug where the dots are separate. So this is going to be weird to describe, but basically dragging from these dots needs to create a line that we can put into the other block. So let's describe that. When the user clicks on one of the 4 dots / nodes attached to each block. It should start creating a line that can be connected to a different block. Also, make sure the blocks snap to the white plane better at any position. Now, to be honest, this prompt might not be the best because on average, you want to describe just one thing. You want to focus on one thing. So what I like to do is I like to create like a file called roadmap.md, which is a markdown file. And this is going to, like, you could say like, this is the main development roadmap. By the way, this is a huge underrated use case of Cursor that only you guys watching until this point will listen up, because most people don't watch until the end. But you guys, the ones that actually do, will get a sweet reward because this is super untapped. Cursor is also amazing for just writing text. Like writing text in this AI tool actually feels like it can read your mind. Here's what I mean. So this is the main development roadmap. I'm gonna say the goal is to build a simple web app. Boom, reads your mind. That is a combination of voiceful and Twilio. So I can just press tab, enter, next line. I'm gonna say, we will start by building a clean and simple front end that looks just like voiceful. Tab, enter, boom. The first step is to ensure we have the 4 main blocks from Twilio. And then we can say SMS, what else do we have? SMS, voice, email, and then off. And it also fixes your errors, by the way, spotted the error and just fix it. And okay, we can delete this. The second step is to make sure we can actually drag these blocks into the canvas. The third step is to make sure we can connect the blocks together. This is what I mean. So even if you're writing some text like a homework or an essay or anything, Google Docs does not have this. I don't understand why, like Google is absolutely trolling the AI revolution, but you can use Cursor just for text editing and to have these predictions of what you are trying to say. Like, this is underrated. You know, most people only use Cursor for writing code, but for writing text, it's also amazing because it literally feels like it can read your mind. So, you know, this is a nice little tip that those of you who watch until this point get. Anyways, let's accept these changes. I'm just gonna raw dog it because, you know, I don't want to waste your guys' time. Anyways, let's see. SMS and off. So, that's nice colors. Let's try to connect it. So the connection still doesn't work. Like it still doesn't create a new line. Maybe if I click it, yeah, the lines don't really work. Let me maybe provide a screenshot from voice flow. This is actually pretty chaotic, but whatever. Maybe let's showcase like this, only this part. Like, when taking screenshots, do not include parts that are not relevant. The lines feature does not work at all. I've attached a screenshot so you can see what it should look like. When clicking and dragging from those 4 points on the block, a line should appear that follows the user's cursor. Actually, it's something I should have described earlier, until the user clicks on a separate dot on a different block, at which point the line remains on the canvas. Now, one really good practice that you should do inside of Cursor is to tag the relevant files. So in this case, it is the blocks file. Okay, so I'm going to say, make sure to update block. Make sure to be block.tsx. For some reason, I cannot tag the file. Normally you can do like add and tag the file. I think it's because this is a super new project and I didn't even close and reopen Cursor. So maybe that's the issue, but just typing the name of the file also points it in the right direction. Oh, and one more mistake that a lot of beginners make is that they like turn off their brain. Basically, they just have, they read the prompt, but then they like, you know, look around the room, go to the toilet. This is your opportunity to learn, right? Like you can learn stuff. You can go into the chat, like you can switch from composer while the composer is still cooking, go into chat and like develop an understanding, because you will feel yourself every single day being more powerful. I don't know how to describe it, but this is the best thing about using AI tools. Every day you're faster. Every day you're increasing your power. You're better at prompt engineering. You know how to use the tool faster. You know what type of mistakes it makes. Like every single day you're increasing your competence, and this compounds exponentially. So the sooner you start paying off that technical debt, and like, you know, you don't know prompt engineering, you don't know anything about coding, you learn the basics of Python, how to read code, and suddenly like you can start doing things faster, right? Like instead of putting 1,000 hours into programming and being able to build a full stack web app, like was the case 2-3 years ago, which was required. Now all you have to do is like put in 5, 10, 20 hours to learn the fundamentals so that you don't get stuck at the most common errors, and you can just work so much faster. So do not shut off your brain. Use these tools to actually explain what's happening and develop an understanding, because you might get stuck at something for a couple of hours, but then the next day you have a fresh perspective and you're already better. Like, this is the main benefit of using AI tools. You're improving your competence and you're getting ahead of all the people that are not taking action. So the sooner you jump in, the sooner the compounding starts. It's just like investing, like, compound interest. The sooner you start investing, the sooner the compounding starts taking place. It's the same with your skill set, especially with AI tools, because AI is changing so fast. So, okay, let's accept this and let's switch to our front end. What happened here? Okay, let's reload that. Let's try SMS, voice, and let's see if the connection works. So it creates a separate block, which is at least an improvement. Oh, okay, so it tries to attach it like this. The new block is basically attached. Okay, so yeah, I know what to change. So clicking on the 4 dots should not create a new block. It should create a new line object that goes from that dot, follows the user's cursor until the user clicks on a different dot from another block. Make sure to create a new TSX component for the line and make it look like the canvas in VoiceFlow. And I probably should provide a screenshot again. Wait. I saw something. I swear I saw something. Oh, look at this. We have the lines. So the lines is being somehow rendered, but it's glitching with the blocks. Yeah. Okay, this is a nice image. Let's use this as a reference. So there is a lots of lines. So maybe let's only take this part. Look at the image to see how the lines should be rendered. Now I can already see some of the comments being like, oh David, why wouldn't I just use bold, right? Like, why bother with cursor? Like, in bold you can see the front end much faster, it's easier to use. Yes, bold is easier to use. And if you want to see like a quick, mock-up, quick MVP in a matter of 2-3 prompts in a matter of 5-10 minutes, then yes, bold is better for that use case. But to build an actually impressive app with, functional backend, the details, fine-tuning it, like making it really good, you need a proper IDE. And Cursor is actually a fork of VS Code, which, is one of the best IDEs out there, one of the best code editors out there, meaning Bold, like, super simple. Like, Bold is better if you want a quick 5-minute, 10-minute demo of what the app can look like. But if you want to actually make it work, right? If you want to start an AI startup, then Cursor is definitely the way to go, because you can see the files, you can make changes, it's much more customizable, it's much more high level. Now, the barrier to entry is, there, but after watching this video, and especially if you watch the advanced Cursor tutorial in the New Society, you will already be ahead of 90% of people, and hopefully you will break through that initial wall of friction that's holding so many of you back. Anyways, Cursor has proposed some changes, actually a lot of changes. So let's see, because we have a new line component over here. Let's go back to our front end and let's see what happens. SMS, voice. Now we still have this weird duplication bug. Yeah, we still have this weird duplication bug. You know what? I think there's a simpler way to do it. I would say change of plans. Instead of using the lines, let's just make the blocks snap to each other when they are close. Each block can snap to the 4 sides, up, down, left, left, right, only. No other weird angles, okay? Remove the part of our code that creates duplicate blocks when we are in the canvas. The only way to create a new block should be by clicking on the icons in the sidebar, not on the canvas. Okay, let's simplify this because I don't want to spend 3 hours on it. Most of you probably wouldn't watch a 5-hour video of me debugging errors, but that's the reality of an AI startup. Sometimes you make progress insanely fast, sometimes you get stuck on weird errors like this. And yeah, I could re-record it, I could, polish it out and make it work on the first try, but personally, I don't think that's being honest to you guys, because some of you will go try it and you will run into errors like, oh my God, it worked perfectly for David, but I'm running into errors. Oh my God, the lines are here somehow. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. But you can see like this is what building with AI is like. Sometimes you make amazing progress. In 30 minutes, you build something that will take you multiple days. And sometimes you get stuck on things that you don't understand because you're using the AI tools. Now, obviously, as I said, the long-term goal is to develop the understanding so you can actually understand what's happening at a technical level. Like here, I could probably open up Chrome Web Dev Tools and like really analyze like, what is this, right? You know, what is this? Where does it come from? You can see like the styles and the computed styles. You could really like go in deep and analyze it once you learn the skills. But the main lesson I'm trying to convey is that don't get discouraged if you see errors. Like sometimes the simplest changes are the ones that, you know, take you multiple hours, and then something that you dreaded, like, oh my God, this is gonna take me a day or two, you just get it done in like 40 minutes. Like it really is unpredictable, and this is the nature of working with AI. So don't take the errors personally, just push through, try to learn like, okay, what's causing this error? What are few possible fixes? You know, do some ChatGPT web searches. By the way, the new ChatGPT web search, so fast, it's amazing. So yeah, let's see. Okay, we simplified it, and let's see if the blocks can snap together. So obviously we removed the okay, wait. Okay, so it works. It's a bit sketchy, but the snapping works. So wait, SMS into voice call into email. Yeah, I still, you know, if I were to perfect this, I would spend like multiple hours on the canvas. So the dragging is good. Let's see. Okay, this is nice. I don't know, the email doesn't, okay, it's snapped. So as you can see, the snapping is not that polished yet, but still, we built this super fast while I was trying to explain how to use cursor. So hopefully this inspires you to build something. It doesn't have to be, you know, something advanced. It doesn't have to be world-changing software. Just build a simple tool for yourself. Build something for your team, for your clients. Start an AI startup. Like, now is the time. It has never been easier to build custom software, and the new cursor agent is a beautiful example of that. So hopefully this inspired you to build something. If it did, then go ahead and do it now. With that being said, hope you have a wonderful, productive week, and see you in the next video. Peace.